Oh my God. Oh my God. A hot mess. A hot mess. Anyways, what is up, y'all? It's your girl, Brand New, and I am back in the building. Listen, make sure you like this video as you are coming in. Make sure you like it. Okay, that way the girl gets some approval, honey, from the algorithm. Okay, listen. Okay, we are back. We will be talking about that interview, honey. How long have we been in? Yeah, look, I have to wait a couple of minutes, honey, before I can cuss and start clowning, honey. They don't like it when you come in, honey, on the foolishness, okay? But I am here to review Miss Wanda's interview with Bro Chat. Make sure you check it out. The usual foolishness, misspelling of words. She called Contessa and said, y'all know Contessa from Married to Medicine. She calls her Tuntessa and says she's from Love and Hip Hop. I said, Tisha, girl, Latifah, come and get your mammy. Come and get your mammy. Just mispronouncing words, honey, telling the people about them nasty, not potatoes. Excuse me. I thought I was, saying it the right way. It's potatoes. I said, that is a mess. That is a fool walking. Carlos loves people like Miss Wanda because you don't really, if you're being honest, you don't really have to pay people like Miss Wanda a lot of money. They will show up for 15 cents. You remember when Nene had told Kenya, girl, you don't even make that much with us, okay? Girl, okay? They giving you $2,500 to act a fool, okay? I think that was when Kenya had first started on the show. But yeah, Miss Wanda, we know Kenya has, become an icon of Housewives of Atlanta, honey. That was back in her earlier days, honey, when Nene was dragging her. But Miss Wanda, this is a fool. All you got to do is play a few numbers for Miss Wanda, give her a pack of noun laters, listen to her misspell and mispronounce words, and, honey, you a shoo-in. Okay, you in Miss Wanda's good graces. Okay? Oh, and she also talks about Melody. Absolutely. Her raggedy ass can't keep my damn name up out her mouth. She a hood booger. She a hood booger, and I never trusted Wanda. So ghetto and so rude. You remember Miss Van told Melody, she acting ghetto at me. She act like she was so offended, honey. When I tell you, like, Miss Van is one of them people where she is so funny. She don't know it, but she's just so funny. And I love it. It is so real. But yeah, she can't stand Miss Wanda, and I don't blame her. Miss Wanda is a hot fool. But she comes out the gate. Okay? She comes out the gate and says she's never liked Melody. Okay? And she tried to get on the fact that Melody laughed in Tisha's face when I guess Latifah lost, what was it, her grandmother or something. And I don't think that that's what Melody was like laughing about. But of course, that's how Miss Wanda is. She's another Martell, another Yolanda, honey. They just want to make Melody look bad. And it's another Destiny too, honey. Okay? I told y'all, you really gotta be that bitch when all these people come up against you. I should know they come for me in threes. And Miss Robinson be like, I know that's right, because you motherfuckers will need backup when you coming for the queen, because I will go down the list with you all, honey. Okay? But yeah, she gets to saying, yeah, I never cared for Melody, when she laughed in Tisha's face about her grandmother passing. That was just so nasty and so rude. Oh my God, Miss Wanda is over here telling them that Contessa was dare, right? And the guy from Bro Chat, he says, oh, Contessa was there? Oh my God, that was so funny. Damn, like, Miss Wanda, what did these words ever do to you? What did they do to you for you to butcher them, slice them, and just annihilate them? Like, what did they do to you? So, Contessa is actually friends of Destiny. It don't look like Contessa and Destiny would have anything like in common. Well, maybe the Raggedy Man thing, because we know Scott ain't about shit. Except at least with him, he's a doctor, honey. Well, the barbecue is about some shit too, because he can fry chicken, barbecue it, okay? That's why Miss Robinson always pays homage to him with the whole La Chick-fil-A, La Thanksgiving. You know, I'm letting you know that nigga can cook, okay? So, yeah, he don't like Destiny. But Contessa, I did see her when she had the Madani relaunch. So, she is a whole mess. Oh, Miss Wanda also mentions that the show is a lot better this season. You know, Melody's not on it anymore, and it's still a good show, and everybody's gonna like it. And girl, shut up. So Miss Wanda says she has a seasoning. I wouldn't want any seasoning from her because it just looked like she would put all types of bullshit together, right? We already know she stuffs the hell out of those potatoes. Not the potatoes, honey, but she be stuffing the shit out of them, just putting all her leftovers in there and shit. Child, Okay, so I guess that Contessa was at Destiny's, like I said, Madani event, and Miss Wanda gets to talking about that's how her and Melody ended up getting into it. Now, Miss Wanda tells Brochat that Melody fronted her. Girl, the word is confront. Damn. You are really, like, disrespectful with these words. Like, girl, you acting like Latifah. You taking away letters. You taking away from the word. Child, now we see why Latifah be out here, you know, copy and pasting, stealing folks' ideas. Okay, that's what we see where she gets it from. She gets it honest. Apple don't fall too far from that big ass tree, okay? A mess. So Miss Wanda is getting ready to say, yeah, Melody confronted me about what I said on my Instagram. Now, she was getting ready to go into that, and then she was like, live. Yeah, because you was getting ready to fuck that word up too, Miss Wanda. God damn, shit. Just out here unaliving these damn words. Oh, and really quickly, Miss Wanda, in the beginning of the interview, she's saying she had been hatched. I couldn't even, make out what the hell she was saying, but she was saying she had been hacked. I don't believe that. I think, she's making excuses for her deplorable behavior. But yeah, it's like, learn how to say and that is not even like a hard word, but this, it just shows you the level of ignorance that you are dealing with when you encounter Miss Wanda. Now, I will be doing more commentary on why I think Miss Wanda is the perfect employee for Carlos King. Carlos King, now that I really, see some things in him, I think he loves people like Miss Wanda, that are not that bright and whose elevators don't go all the way up to the top floor. He kind of gives me that. So she is the perfect employee to get played, by Carlos King. I also did tell you all I am a fan of Carlos. I will always love Carlos for Real Housewives of Atlanta because he produced some of my favorite seasons of the show. And like I said, I'm a fan of his work and his work ethic and his interviews. So there are some things I do like about Carlos, but I also can see some shit with him that's just not quite that right. Okay. But Miss Wanda is the perfect employee. I remember when they did that interview with each other and he was just cheesing and smiling because he had to keep, telling her the right words to say. So yeah, a lot of employers, they love a employee like Miss Wanda, not that bright, and you got to keep telling them all the right words to say and how to pronounce them. So yeah. There's that, but we will dig into that on another day. So Miss Wanda gets to recounting the story of her talking about Melody needs to go find her baby daddy. Now we all know that Melody has 4 children, unfortunately, with Martell Holt. Right? It's unfortunate that he is their father. It's not unfortunate that the children are here. It's just who she had the children by, right? That makes it bad. Um, Absolutely. Um, she lied about this whole thing. She tried to play off that Melody was saying that her baby daddy was, in her inbox. And Melody, did say that, but Miss Wanda tried to make it look like, well, oh, I hadn't been with that man for 40 plus years. Like we had Tisha and then it pretty much was over. She really, tried to downplay it, but you can't downplay your reaction because you were about ready to fight Melody down to the Madani. So you were bothered, bitch, by what she said. Stop trying to, clean it up, Miss Wanda. Okay, you were upset. You was in your feelings. Okay? But yeah, it was Latifah's father in Melody's inbox. And I'm not surprised because if the daughter loves to copy off every goddamn thing that Melody does, then of course, birds of a feather, the father, he wants some of Melody. She a nice looking woman. Why not? Okay, so, but yeah. That's what Latifah was bothered about, and that's what Miss Wanda had her panties in a bunch about, but she tried to downplay it, and, just a lot of lying on this interview, because we all know the truth, right? So Miss Wanda denies talking about Melody's youngest child, Sugar Mama. Every time she mispronounces a word, one of the guys there, their goddamn eyes get so big, like, oh my god, this should be a crime. She should be arrested, right? For all this mispronouncing of words. It is crazy. So Miss Wanda says that Melody was trying to get at Bernard, and she only came at Melody to get Melody up off of Bernard. She came to be the peacemaker. It's like, Miss Wanda, where are you getting this story? That's not, that's not how all that happened. Yes, Melody had words with Bernard, but it was only because I believe Bernard was on the live with Wanda talking shit about Melody. Okay? So, Miss Wanda, you, like you said, you didn't like Melody, and you was looking to create conflict. Let's look at bullies, you guys, and their behavior. What do bullies do? They always try to create conflict with somebody, right? That they can't control, right? Oh my god, this is a fool. So she goes into why she never liked Melody, and it's because Melody never gave Tisha gratitude. Huh? Why would she show gratitude towards her grandmother passing? Like, Wanda, you are using the wrong words at the wrong place at the wrong time. I know they was like so confused. And God is not the author of confusion. Wanda is like, huh? Condolences? Is that what you was looking for? Like gratitude and condolences, those are like opposite. If I have gratitude for the life that I'm living, for being in a good bill of health, right? For having my strength, for being able to provide for myself. That's what you have gratitude. You have good feelings, right? But no, I think you meant sympathy, Miss Wanda, or, Hell, you could have went empathy. Like, well, no, empathy wouldn't be good. Sympathy would be more because it's, somebody passed and, that whole thing. But yeah, doesn't know how to use the words at the right times. I know Carlos is like, bitch, I hit the jackpot. I could pay this bitch in chitlins and she would be happy. A little rib sandwich every Friday with a side of, not potato salad, tater salads. Like, honey, if Miss Wanda was my employee, I would be pretty excited. I would be happy, because you have to really look at it. Like, he literally went from Miss Wanda, Melody to Miss Wanda. So it's like, oh, I couldn't get over on this bitch. She won't agree to let me be her manager. This bitch thinks she's so much better than everybody and she's smart. See, people, they don't like people like Melody. I know, I got some of Melody up in me. They don't like when you can read. Okay? And read down and see stuff for what it is. Right? They love people like Miss Wanda that misspell, mispronounce words, don't know they rooter for they tutor. Okay? Shit. But yeah, I know he is like, bitch, I only gotta pay this bitch $5. Look, every other week. All I gotta do is eat a potato, honey. These nasty ass potatoes. Okay? And Miss Wanda go be over here acting a fool. Okay? For the free 99. And you can apply the same analogy to, Martell going from Melody to Ariana. It's like, yeah, I got this idiot. She ain't that smart. She don't look that good, So I let her out her cage every once in a while and she's happy. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of thinking. Honey, I know what I'm talking about, okay? Miss Wanda is such a fucking liar. So she says that Melody stood there with a glass in her mouth and laughed in Tisha's face. First off, they were sitting down and having a conversation. And never trust people that can't get simple details, right? Like standing and sitting. We all know that there's a difference, right? Between that and, So it's just like, it's a mess. So one of the guys from Bro Chat says, yeah, I remember that, and she had no sympathy. Melody didn't have any sympathy because Tisha Latifah is one of those women that likes to play victim. I literally know a lady like Latifah. This bitch has did everything to disrespect me, just to be nasty to me, but she loved like positioning herself to be the victim. And a lot of times, ladies, women will do that when they know they're not on your level. Every little thing you do, it hurts their feelings. They don't like the truth. They like to live in Delulu land, right? So everything you do is going to hurt their feelings because I told y'all that goddamn Latifah got imposter syndrome. She don't know who she if she coming or going or who she want to be, or that's why she's always copying shipping addresses and ain't even apologizing. Set up there. Well, my bad. She didn't sit. She was standing at looking at Stormy. I'll never forget it. And she laughed in Stormy's face. And yeah, it actually helped me and my toe. And Stormy was looking at her like, wow, I really see this bitch. This bitch is bragging about stealing my damn shipping address. Then Latifah put it off on the website guy, right? But really, if you paid him, you should have looked over his work before he got paid, right? She didn't do that. Okay? So, yeah. So Wanda says that played a real part into who she are. Who she is. Like, God, Latifah. Shame on you and Marceau, okay, for not getting this lady some Saturday school, some summer school, some classes. You can get I'm sure some type of robot. Like, you could get something down, some hooked on phonics something, for Miss Wanda to clean up her vocabulary or lack thereof. It's really sad, right? Honey, Carlos, that baby think of him again. He gonna be paying her ass in neck bones and look, potatoes, baby. Ain't that what the people used to make back in the day? She looked like she, ain't just give Miss Wanda some neck bones, side of greens, semi-seasoned. She wouldn't be a hard employee for me to pay or for me to really deal with, child. So yeah, Carlos like, yeah, I done hit the jackpot. Woo. So Wanda admits to, calling Melody anything but a child of God on her live, and she ended up suffering consequences for that, and what she had said about the child and all of that. It came down to Miss Wanda and Melody. Of course, they are going to rock with Melody. This is her show. She brings more to the show than, Miss Wanda, So talk about a no-brainer. So that's why she lost her job. But honey, she is back for the free 99. Carlos probably got it in her contract. He don't even have to pay her, honey, the first 5 weeks. The bitch will just work for free. I'm for real. Like, I know, like, what I'm looking at. I know what I'm looking at. And please tell me that confusing ass Ken and Trisha and Marquez, I hope they're not back next season. I think Marquez got fired on his day off because he was down to the Queen Sheba, honey, telling everything, about what happened. And it's just a mess. But yeah, some tell me Ken and the girl, they will be back. I don't know. They just offer way too much confusion for me. I don't want to be confused when I'm watching a show. I want to be entertained. I want to be able to follow what's going on. But I don't know, Carlos. These damn castmates you got on here is like, and Destiny fit right in because she over there selling the goddamn lottery tickets, can't keep the goddamn business open. She working out of a storage. She keep fucking with La Barbecue. He go end up having her move up in that storage. Okay, I mean, I'm just saying. But yeah, it just it really becomes clear, right? Why a lot of these people, they didn't like Melody. And not to say that Melody is, oh so perfect, but hell, she kind of is compared to these people's, honey. Down to the first floor. Okay? Because, yeah, when you working with people like Destiny and Miss Wanda, and you so much smarter than them, they really will have a disdain for you. Like, who does that bitch think that she is? She thinks she's so much better when really it's their insecurity that's threatened by you, right? So one of the guys, I don't think that he likes Melody because he gets to saying, well, Miss Wanda, you were just responding. First off, you're doing an interview, right? You are to get her opinion. You are not to help her with her opinion. She said what she said, and for you to flip it and turn it and say, oh, well, you were just responding to her saying that Tisha was Tisha's dad was, in her inbox. It's just like, huh? Like, dudes. And this the black one that's in bro chat, child, okay? Can't even trust your own peoples. So Miss Wanda admits to calling her ex-husband, to figure out who Melody was talking about as far as her baby daddy. She didn't even hear the part where Melody had said, oh, well, ask Tisha, it was her father. See, Miss Wanda is one of those people, she just reacts. She doesn't get all of, the information, right? She reminds us that she got pregnant with Tisha when she was in high school. You all grew up together. So Miss Wanda says she was actually talking about the baby that Melody got rid of, right? But girl, either way, you were trying to be funny and you were trying to make it look like, Melody had been cheating on Martell, or she had, relations and got pregnant by another man and it wasn't Martell's. And really, who gives a damn if that happened? Because look at how Martell treated Ariane. Not treated Ariane, treated Melody, honey. Ooh, child, I really must be tired, child. Look, we recovering, honey, from the 32. But yeah, look at how he treated Melody. But you wanted to play into Martell's crazy. You wanted to get him all excited and huffing and puffing. Yeah, yeah. To add to his narrative that Melody is a cheater. And, she's the one that cheated on him first. And, she started, all the cheating, So, yeah. So, Damien from Bro Chat says, Miss Wanda didn't talk about a child just by her telling Melody, go find, your baby dad. So Wanda says that Melody, had mentioned she didn't want to fool with her no more. She didn't want to shoot no more scenes with her. She was done because she felt like, Miss Wanda had took everything way too far. Let me read some comments from the people before we continue. One person says, I can tell Damien doesn't like Mel and real nasty and sassy towards her, but he don't need help. Wanda lies. Wanda has talked about Mel's kids more than once. Didn't she say something about their hair and, like alluding to them being bald-headed, and Latifah got these children with their daddy's face, child, okay? With all this long and flowing hair. So, yeah. She admitted she was talking about the baby. Whether she was talking about Sugar Mama or the one that didn't make it here, she was still talking about a baby. Yep. She admitted she set up Yolanda. I don't like that psycho, but she did set him up to be harmed. Ooh, child. Called Yolanda, honey, a psycho. Ooh. And she admitted that all of them, okay, the person has them, knew about the revenge piece. So trying to help her explain that away was disgusting. I hope when he tries one of the Shonuff potatoes, it gives him the run. Not the potatoes. A mess. Another person says, as a mother, Wanda telling Mel to go find her baby daddy when Mel was married to Martell at the time is speaking against Mel and Martell's child. Wanda was insinuating that the child had no father, which could do potential harm to the child if seen via the internet when they got older. It is easy to say Wanda was not speaking on Mel and Martell's child if you are not a parent. Had that been the other way around and Mel said that about Tisha, Wanda and Tisha would have felt the same way. I'm still tripping up off of Latifah and Destiny and the whole bringing up Melody at that reunion and allegedly Melody giving the fellatio. Like, I thought that was so stupid and it was so disrespectful. It was just like really trying to like sink Melody. And yes, it was Destiny that was really doing it, but Latifah is the one that put the battery in her back, and it just really showed Latifah's jealousy towards Melody, her and Destiny. You know what I'm saying? It's just really disgusting. Damien, you know darn well the mellometers had nothing to do with Wanda being removed from that show. If you're going to speak on it, please tell the freaking truth. So yeah, he's trying to allude to it was the mellometers that got that lady off that show. No, it was her bad behavior. But she had been acting out for a while, okay? She had been acting out for a while. Somebody said Mel used to take Wanda on trips with her, then Wanda being Wanda, when she can't control you, then you are her enemy. Wanda is lying. She went off on Mel about the baby daddy and her DM. Wanda did go back to apologize and beg for Mel's friendship, but Mel declined because Wanda is a snake and has done so much dirt. Mel is the one that brought all of them on. Mel made the show. She is much happier now because she doesn't have to deal with all the betrayal from so-called friends. So another person says it was Bernard that threatened Melody. That's why she pulled up on y'all. Wanda talked mad shit about Melody, so don't get mad when she pull up. So another person says, I just knew that bro chat were haters of mellow meters need to understand these people are using Mel's name to gain her audience. This channel is going nowhere without talking about Mel. They are hurting for views. Oh, they also asked Miss Wanda about the whole thing with Marceau and the girl saying that, Marceau had cheated with her, and Miss Wanda kept saying, it just wasn't believable. So somebody says, we all know Marceau cheated, so why talk about the mistress now? We don't care. The viewers are gone now. Wanda is friends with the blogger that talks shit about Kiki and the entire cast, but she wants to be buddy with him, SMH. So Victor from Bro Chat asks Miss Wanda, do you think Melody exiting the show will have any impact on their viewership of the show? Miss Wanda says that they got some good peoples there, and they have always had the peoples there. Miss Wanda says they only highlighted Melody more than other people because Melody is the one with the huge, she didn't even say following, she said follow, and was dragging the ing. I'm not lying. It's like, girl, she ain't even say it outright. It was, ooh, child. She says the follow, so she means the following. Melody had the bigger fan base. Just say that. But yeah, oh child. This bitch be getting rid of INGs, getting rid of letters. Just lazy. Okay? Just a mess. Miss Wanda says that with the way that everything is going, the people are still going to love and Marriage Huntsville. So we shall see when the show comes back on. Why I'm looking at what these people are saying. Somebody said in the comments, who the hell is Mel? Miss Wanda don't say Melody. She says Melon. And she don't even get into the rest of Melody's. Oh. So Miss Wanda gets to talking about the event. I believe that she invited Yolanda to, right? And she said she was on the phone with Marcella. So Miss Wanda says it was actually Marcella that called up Yolanda and got to telling, it was Marcella that told Yolanda, well, hey, Wanda wants you. So Wanda is kind of saying that she never started this with Yolanda, honey. And don't you get your ass in the comments talking about who is Yolanda, we know who Yolanda is, honey. Okay? So Wanda says that she hugged Yolanda when Yolanda came up there to the event, her event. And then, she said she hugged Yolanda, and then Miss Wanda says, I guess Yolanda went away or walked away or something, and the producer called Wanda and was just like, well, what is Yolanda doing here? Wanda says she invited Yolanda. Wanda says Yolanda got on her platform and lied to everybody, making it look like, she denied inviting him. Yolanda, not Yolanda, Miss Wanda. Look, tongue twister. Miss Wanda says that, I guess the producers, they didn't even want Yolanda there. See, that right there, that says something about reputation. Okay? Them peoples, the producers, they didn't want you there. They know you for your works. Okay? They didn't want you there. Miss Wanda says she didn't know that they didn't, want him there, because she's just like, I had other people there. I guess it was some other bloggers. I think like Courtney and Eddie. I think she invited them as well. They have a couples channel. So Mitch says that Yolanda has a history of spoiling the episodes, releasing footage before the episode even comes out. Okay, i.e., all those scenes in Texas, and the audience knew about it, putting stuff behind a paywall, and, trying to get people to, come up over there. So Wanda says that she always felt like AL was possibly dating somebody that's a part of the filming crew. What you talking about? Production? I know he likes to say that he knows people. Didn't he say he knew some people? I'm sorry, didn't she say, Yolanda, that she knew some people at the Wendy Williams show or over there at Cherry? One of the two, honey. So yeah. What do y'all think about what Miss Wanda is saying about that? Put it in the comments. So Miss Wanda is saying that she felt like it could be true that he was dating somebody, a part of the filming crew. That's how he knew about episodes, and that's how he knew all this in-house information about Love and Marriage Huntsville. But Miss Wanda, you are missing a very important part. Wasn't it Melody that let everybody know that this man was trying to, like we saw Melody, she would throw him a bone, invite him on live, and she had got him to be like a YouTuber, and she got her fans to subscribe to his channel. So, and this is what I'm saying, when people hate other people, so Wanda's hate for Melody, it wouldn't allow for her to see Yolanda for who and what she really is. Your hatred for your own niece. Remember what Yolanda did to Kiki. You saw all of these past situations play out, and you didn't think that anything would happen with you. Okay? That's why I'm looking at Stormy cockeyed crazy, because it's like, what are you doing? Okay? How many more times do you all need to be warned about somebody's behavior? So the guys from Bro Chat, they tell Miss Wanda that, she's being accused of setting up Yolanda for, when he arrived. So who do you all believe? You believe Yolanda, or do you believe Miss Wanda? So Miss Wanda says that her family, and we met her family on the show. I was cracking up that episode. That was a good episode. They wanted to meet Yolanda. They just really wanted to get acquainted with him. Why? And she says because of, what ended up happening with, him and Kiki. Like, wouldn't they not want to have anything to do with him if they saw how, Yolanda did Kiki? It doesn't make any sense, but this is Miss Wanda's MO. Nothing with her makes sense. She said people betrayed this to be. This wasn't how people betrayed it to be. Portrayed. There's a difference between betrayed and portrayed, Miss Wanda. Oh my God. Oh my God, Latifah, how many masters? And then the fact that the daughter, okay, the daughter has all these fake ass master's degrees. It's like, it's like, are they just handing the motherfuckers out? Like, they have to be, because Latifah, the way she copy and paste, the way she be trying to steal ideas and stuff, I just wouldn't hand her a certificate for anything. It would be a certificate to, like, get her own fucking ideas and stop trying to copy off the next bitch and be jealous. But there's that. Miss Wanda says she did not want Yolanda to get beat up or set up, when she, she or he arrived, right? So, yeah, it's a mess. Wanda says they was there, okay? The family, they was there at the event. So Mitch from Bro Chat mentions how, Yolanda has talked poorly about Latifah in the past. Kiki. Miss Wanda starts up some logic about, my family, even though, Yolanda had talked badly about my daughter, me, or Kiki. Nobody in my family wanted to front him. Okay, that's what she said. She means confront. Nobody wanted to confront him. And she even mentioned that Funky Dineva had even, he had talked about Kiki as well. And did he ever talk about Latifah, how she's less than smart? I'm sure he has in some type of capacity, right? So, Funky Dineva, I guess, had dragged Wanda, I guess several times. And, she wanted to meet him. So it's like the logic, it doesn't make sense. Why would you want to meet somebody that has, like, dragged you? But unless, you didn't take it that serious. But he had said some, really nasty stuff about Kiki. But Wanda and Latifah, they didn't like Kiki. That's why they never, really cared about that. Because it really aligned with their narrative of Kiki was jealous, right, of Latifah and her subservient marriage that she has with Marceau, where she, just subjugates all her feelings, wants, needs, and, everything else. So, yeah, it's like the logic of it is, like, weird, like wanting to meet a motherfucker that dragged you. Like, I would want to meet somebody I'm a fan of, but somebody that's just be out here dragging me, why would you want to meet, like, him, like, knowing, and that's what I'm saying with people, you just gotta pay attention to what people say. Honey, I don't think these guys from Bro Chat sees it for Yolanda, honey. They called her thirsty and, it's a mess. So next they talked to Miss Wanda about the whole revenge P thing and how her daughter, Latifah, had knowledge of the revenge P. Victor from Bro Chat says that Latifah was wrong to, not call Melody and give her a heads up about her knowing about the revenge P situation. Why would she do that, though? That's not Latifah acted the way she always acts. She knew about Martell cheating on Melody. She didn't run and, tell Melody, well, hey, I know about your man's side chick, and she didn't even do that then. Not then. So why would she, like, let Melody know she had knowledge of the revenge P? No, this is a woman that's jealous of Melody. When somebody is jealous of you, they will do anything to torture you. They will hear rumors about you. They will continue to spread them. Look at her hatred for Melody behind the situation with Destiny at that reunion. You would have to hate somebody to want to embarrass them in front of millions of people and fellow castmates, mentioning that the woman, perform fellatio on her husband in front of the comeback group, like for you to be a part of that. And I was like, ooh, look at Latifah. I told y'all, if you've been following me for a while, right? Because Latifah is good at playing the victim. She's the mousy type, right? She is always crying victim. And what's ironic is that scene that Miss Wanda is talking about with Melody and her. Melody called out Latifah for playing the victim, for throwing rocks and hiding her hands, right? So, and that's why Latifah instantly went into, oh, you're laughing about my relative. She wasn't laughing about that. She was laughing about something else. But, Latifah was looking to play the victim. And so that's what she did. She's always trying to put out a false narrative, right? So Miss Wanda defends her daughter and says, Latifah didn't know if the Revenge P tape was really real. And then two, her and Melody don't even speak. So she knows that Melody doesn't like her. Now, isn't that interesting? It's not that Melody doesn't like her. It's that your daughter is a jealous ass bitch. That's an unlikable person. And she likes to hide behind being a wife and, oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I respect my husband, and my man, and Latifah defines herself by her marriage. She doesn't have an identity outside of Marceau. She doesn't, and he knows that, and she caters to his ego, right? So, yeah, it's just listen to what people say, especially Miss Wanda, and you will not get the truth, right? And Wanda mentions that Melody told Latifah, well, you're going to have to just find out for yourself about, your husband cheating. And yeah, because Latifah, she didn't want to hear what Melody had to say. So Wanda, she tries to compare that to, that's why, Latifah didn't tell Melody about the so-called Revenge P tape that her and allegedly all the other cast already knew about. So, yeah. So, it's a mess. So, it's just like, girl, give it up. All right, you guys, that's all I have to say about all of that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I am your girl, Brand New, and I will check you guys out in the next video.